There are only 9 right-handed starting pitchers in all of baseball worth more than 1.5 wins above replacement with a K per 9 over 10. Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Luis Severino, Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Trevor Bauer, Lance McCullers Jr., John Gray, and Nick Pivetta. That's right, Nick Pivetta, the 25-year-old pride of Canada, the same guy who posted a 6 ERA just a season ago, has quietly emerged as one of the premier arms in the major leagues. Or has he? Let's take a deep dive.
Meet the future face to face. And make you feel like you're there in outer space, beneath the sea.
In over 130 innings pitched back in 2017, Nick Pivetta amassed a 6.02 ERA, a 1.51 whip, and served up 25 home runs on a 37.3% hard hit rate. Early and often, he got pummeled by opposing hitters with a barrage of long balls to boot. He relied primarily on his four-seam fastball and sinker, as you can see here in this graphic, and if you turn your attention to this graphic, you'll see why that wasn't such a great idea. When the league is slugging over 500 on your primary pitch and you're going to it nearly half of the time, you're basically asking for it. But even when we're talking about the mess that was his debut season, let's not dwell too much on the negatives here, because he flashed a couple really effective strikeout pitches in his curveball and slider. And although they too got knocked around pretty hard, Pivetta has those offerings to thank for his 24% strikeout rate last year, which was 29th best in the league. So naturally, he did some tweaking over the offseason and in spring training, and this happened. He totally cut down his sinker usage to about 11%, and then he decided, hey, you know what, my curveball and slider got a lot of swing and misses. I'm going to throw those more often. The adverse effect has not only been more strikeouts, but also more whiffs and softer contact overall. Those two pitches also just performed better. Look at the stark contrast between the slash lines in both seasons. It's no wonder why he suddenly got the juice. His curveball specifically has evolved into an elite weapon, with a 40% K rate, a 477 OPS allowed, and a pitch value of 1.8 that ranks within the top 20 for all major league starting pitchers, and is also right behind that of teammate Aaron Nola. Another big change is in Pivetta's four-seam fastball approach. As he's working it more towards the upper half of the strike zone, he's getting more Ks up there, with last week's 11 strikeout onslaught of the Orioles and Camden Yards being the most fruitful example of that. This at-bat against Mark Trumbo last week is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at how he starts him belt high with a fastball, flashes the curve, goes up and off the plate repeatedly with the fastball, and then puts him away with yet another curve. He does the exact same thing to Trey Mancini later on, alternating between sliders away and fastballs up until he ditches a curveball in the dirt. The eye levels constantly changed, and these guys are just flailing away. Here's how he looked the other day against the Atlanta Braves, walking the best offense in the National League. He's getting hot-hitting Ozzie Albies and speedster Ender Inciarte, getting up and in just off the plate with 96 by pitch tunneling and changing his pitch mix. He's put his breaking balls in the minds of hitters while subsequently making his fastball less vulnerable and thus more uncomfortable for hitters to chase. I want to say that this is a breakthrough for Pivetta because we're looking at the grand scheme of things. He's doing the exact opposite of what made him so unsuccessful a year ago, where last season he was throwing a lot of sinkers, he was throwing a lot of fastballs, four-seamers down in the strike zone, down around the middle of the plate. Now he's living upstairs, and he's found this pitch tunneling that's made his curveball better, that's made his slider better, that's made him more confident in going to his curveball and his slider. Two great out pitches that have led to a lot of his strikeouts. But again, the bread and butter, the funny thing is the bread and butter is still the fastball. It is the pitch that creates everything for him. The ability to be able to walk upstairs effectively, to be able to come back down in the zone effectively. He needs that pitch, and he's got it right now. Great command. He's throwing almost 70% first pitch strikes. It's led to an 11.3 swinging strike rate. Hitters are chasing more. Hitters are less comfortable. They're making softer contact. He's getting more infield fly balls. He's getting weaker fly balls. Less balls are leaving the yard. These are all great signs, and these are all signs pointing to a consistency that he's been showing so far. I don't know if we're looking at an ace. I still feel like Aaron Nola is the best pitcher in that rotation. But I think Nick Pivetta provides a very, very close second with the upside to supersede his teammate. In regards to top 20 conversation and starting pitchers, I don't know if he's quite there yet, but I think we're looking at top 30. And top 30 is a lot in fantasy for a guy that nobody was really even drafting when the season started. So to think about where he's come now compared to where he was at the end of October at the end of the season in 2017, that's a beautiful thing. Just those small little adjustments, paying attention to what's working, paying attention to what could work, and continuing to go in that direction. Pavetta's doing a lot of great things right now, and this is a very exciting time for the Phillies. And I think if you're a fantasy owner, if you're a baseball fan, if you're somebody who was studying Pivetta and you're thinking, hey, you know what, this might be a time where I think he's finding something here. Pat yourself on the back, because we're all witnessing something special here, I think. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to like it. Also, feel free to subscribe. I got more content coming up. This is just the start of something beautiful, and I really feel like I'm going to have a lot of fun doing a lot more deep dives into the rest of the league and other players. I'm also going to take requests. If you guys happen to have a player or, I don't know, a team, anything like that you feel like needs a little bit more studying, if there's a player you're looking at that you want to add, or if there's a player that you own in fantasy that you're thinking about either trading, or I don't know what you want to do with them, or if there's a guy in another league or a player on someone else's team that you're thinking about buying, I'm taking requests. This is just the start. I'm starting humbly. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm having fun with this, and I'm hoping that you guys are too. Also, quick big thanks to the guys over at Baseball Savant, the geniuses who came up with all the heat maps and all the tables and all the data that I looked into and studied that helped me create this video. Same thing for the guys over at Fangraphs. Very inspirational. I read a lot of articles explaining pitch tunneling and how it works and how it's become effective. And I've also did some studying on Nick Pivetta. Fangraphs help with that as well. I want to thank them too. They've become an inspiration for me. I started sports writing not too long ago, a few years ago, and having this tabling of evidence to back up all of my claims is great. It's fantastic, and I almost implore you, if you're a sports writer, if you're a baseball writer, and you're touching along the same topics that I am, these are two brilliant, fantastic, absolutely fantastic sites that you should be checking out. This is J-Mud signing off. Everyone, stay safe. God bless.